Hello and welcome. My name is Dennis Jarvis, back again after completing a heavy workload of company end-of-year accounts. This free of charge lecture is the third in the DIY management consultancy and auditing series. Buying is one of the three key areas in business operations. Although other areas are important in manufacturing a product, the key areas for ensuring a successful business are accounts that provides the money for all activities, marketing and sales, where market research confirms there is a market for your product and what you need to buy, for example, materials and equipment you need to make your product. Buying sources and negotiates price, quality and delivery date for equipment and materials needed. This slide shows the main areas for assessment. But before you carry out an assessment, you need to understand how the buying department should work. This and the following slides show an example of a basic buying department in a small or medium-sized manufacturing company. Assessment checklists are set out on the final few slides of this presentation. As you can see on this slide, there are buyers for many different product types. All buyers must do their job with honesty and integrity. The knowledge and skills on this slide are essential for all buyers, whatever product they are buying. This slide shows an example of the department organization for a small or medium-sized manufacturing company. The functions on this slide are used by every business, irrespective of the product they make. It's very important to know the basic specification and details of the product you're expected to buy. For some materials and business equipment, you will need a technical advisor involved in your negotiations. In all cases, a quality control inspection of the materials or product is necessary before taking on a new supplier, and afterwards on each delivery before accepting into stock. The actions on this slide are necessary for new products and when negotiating new contracts for existing products. When taking on new suppliers, it's essential to visit their premises to assess their ability to supply and get a sample of their product for inspection and testing. For example, when I started at a new job, I always visited current major suppliers. On one occasion, visiting our steel blank supplier, I noticed that there were few staff and little stock. I reported this to my production director, who told me that our company finance director was about to sign a guarantee to that company's steel supplier. I advised the finance director not to sign, and a few months later that company went into receivership with significant debts. This slide shows the main items that affect product prices. This slide shows the basic procedure when raising a purchase order. It is essential that all departments concerned are aware the order has been placed. Follow up orders shortly before the date they are due and confirm delivery will be on time. If the order is to be late, advise all departments concerned the new date. When assessing the stock value of companies where I've worked, I found that the 80/20 rule usually applies. That's to say, 80% of the stock value is made up of 20% of the stock items. This is the first place that buyers examine to see if costs can be reduced. Reduced cost price creates savings that increase profits. All major items should be put out to tender annually to ensure continuing best prices. In most companies, some items must always be in stock. The various departments involved, such as sales, manufacturing, accounts, and buying, agree to set minimum and maximum stock levels. The reorder point is usually set when stock is at the point where stock used in the supplier's lead time will reduce it to the minimum. The next delivery will then bring it back to the maximum. It is important to raise an annual inquiry to your current and all suitable suppliers for all high-value items by quantity or price. Buyers need to be proactive to ensure they are always getting the best price, quality, and service. As per the slide, all procedures and systems are suitable for computer or paper-based operations. The problems on this slide can only be detected and improved by assessing all operations in detail and making the necessary changes to ensure you have accurate, fully integrated systems and procedures with security checks across all company operations. On occasions, you may find bribes are offered or taken. For example, I took over as purchasing manager at a new company and visited one of the major suppliers to carry out an assessment. I was just about to leave, giving them a 5-star rating, when the owner came over and offered me a roll of £20 notes, with the comment that I should buy my wife a Christmas present. I refused with an angry comment. When I got back to the office, I sent him a letter stating that if he offered me or any of my staff bribes in the future, his company would be struck off the approved supplier list. This is the standard mission statement that all buyers should adhere to. Fully integrated systems and procedures are essential to ensure all materials are received on time and products are manufactured and finished in time to meet customers' orders. Meeting individual staff members and discussing how their own work can be improved, as well as asking for suggestions as to how department or company operations can be improved, often results in ideas that would create a cost-effective, efficient department, which should also increase profits. This slide shows the basic information that should be on buying records for all types of product or service. This flowchart outlines the audit trail for a purchase order from initial requisition to receipt in goods inwards and warehouse stock. Take a random selection of orders placed and check all stages agree with the sales program. If actual stock does not agree with that calculated, you need to establish the reason. This slide shows a flowchart for selecting new suppliers and awarding contracts. Check some of the current contracts and confirm how they were awarded. There should be an analysis of the assessment for all major contract suppliers that will confirm that it's been awarded on price, quality and service after completing all the actions on this slide. Most companies have terms of purchase written on the back of a standard purchase order document or included in emailed orders. Major contracts usually have several other clauses agreed by the buyer and supplier. Those on this slide are some of the main clauses. It is worth looking at some existing contracts to check if there are any clauses that should not have been included. Many companies have had serious problems caused by lack of or poor communications. For example, one company I worked for decided to contract out some parts that were made in-house. When the parts came in, they were correct to specification, but did not fit into the product. It turns out that the initial specification was slightly out, so production staff were adjusting it to fit. If designers had worked with production staff when preparing the initial specification, or production staff had told design the error, the problem would not have occurred. The result was 6 weeks lost production. It's very rare to find that no change is necessary. The main thing to remember is to only make necessary changes and leave things that are working well. Change for change's sake is a big mistake. I hope you found this lecture useful. If so, Marie Curie Nursing or Cancer Research UK would appreciate a donation. Thank you. This slide shows how stock affects company operations. My next lecture will set out how you can ensure stock is kept at the right level to meet your company needs.